Good evening and welcome. Tonight we have another original Lady NightTerror story written exclusively for this channel. If you enjoy the story, please hit that like button and subscribe. Now, let's get into it. Nurse Ashley's Journal, Tuesday, September 2nd. Today was strange. My favorite patient, Greta, kept grabbing onto my arm and trembling. She did it on and off all day, until evening when all the visitors left and everyone started to go to bed. I couldn't figure out what was scaring her, and it was really out of character. Normally, she plays silly jokes, like the time she stuck a thong to my cardigan using static. I still don't know how she got that type of underwear into the nursing home. Or she'll steal cookies and give them to the other patients. It pains me to think that her Alzheimer's is getting worse, and that it's affecting not just her memory but her demeanor, making her afraid. I hope she's only acting strange because her roommate was having severe chest pains. Her roommate has heart failure, so it's not like her symptoms are unusual. They have just been getting much worse these last couple of days. The woman also seemed agitated, perhaps from her pain, but she wasn't speaking coherently, so we don't know. She spent the last few days resting. Maybe Greta is worried about her roommate, even if she can't remember why she would be concerned. And that would be just like her. Greta is one of the most caring people I have ever met. Alzheimer's patient, Greta, Thursday, September 4th. I woke up today and at first I had no idea where I was, but something told me that I was okay. I was safe. The sunlight filtered in through white horizontal blinds to my right. Below them was a sign. "Hello, Greta," it said. That's me, I think. Then it continued with, "You are at Northwest Hospital. You have Alzheimer's, but are otherwise well. You may leave your room if you like. Your orange bracelet will let others know your condition. They are here to help. Don't be shy." Greta smiled and thought about taking off her bracelet just to mess with people, but figured that would backfire. Greta propped herself up on her elbows and glanced left. Her roommate lay prone on her bed, either sleeping or unconscious, the covers pulled up to her chin. Of course, Greta didn't remember her roommate. That woman could have just come in or have been here for weeks. She wouldn't know. However, something made her bite her lip and pull the blankets closer to her chest. The bacteria in her stomach were jumping around like kids in a playhouse. She couldn't figure out what her body was telling her. Just then, a man in his late 20s or early 30s strolled into their room. He wore jeans, a white t-shirt, and a black leather jacket, so Greta knew he wasn't hospital staff. Hospital staff wore scrubs or white coats, right? She was pretty sure she was right about that. She furrowed her eyebrows at him as her mouth tried to find the right word to ask him who he was. He caught her gaze and narrowed his dark brown eyes as he smirked at her. To Greta, he looked like he was about to win a game by cheating. She pulled the blankets even higher and shrunk back away from him. "I know you don't remember me, Greta. You never do." He was right. Yet, Greta knew to dislike this lanky man. Her body knew that she had met him before. "How about we put on a little music?" he continued, and took his phone out of his pocket. He clicked a few times on the screen, and then placed it on a nightstand next to the unconscious woman. It played out old-timey Christmas music. Is it Christmas time? Greta thought. "Okay, Greta," he said over the music. 2 days ago this didn't work, but we made some progress, didn't we?" He stood up, walked back towards the entrance, and shut the door. Then he came back to his chair by the bed. He took a black box out of his jacket pocket and pushed a button. The contraption made a terrible clicking, snapping noise. It was loud. He winked at Greta, pulled taut a section of her roommate's blanket, and pressed the box against the blanket over the chest of the woman on the bed. And pressed the box against the blanket over the chest of the woman on the bed. She weakly convulsed, as if her body didn't have the energy, and her hands limply flailed. Greta gasped, dropped her covers, and holding her breath like she was about to dive into water, she ran towards the door. She yanked it open and ran straight into Nurse Ashley. Naturally, Greta didn't recognize Nurse Ashley, but she could feel her warmth and concern. Tears sprang into Greta's eyes. She needed to tell this kind woman something. It was important, but changing rooms and seeing someone new kicked the thought out of her mind. She couldn't remember what she needed to tell this woman, but it was important, right? Greta gazed pleadingly into the nurse's eyes and held onto her arm, hoping the nurse would figure it out. "What's going on?" Nurse Ashley started to ask and then stopped. The nurse's alarm sounded from Greta's room. Ashley rushed in and saw Wade, the young man with the leather jacket, weeping over the body of the unconscious woman. "Do something, please! My mother started convulsing," he shouted. "Everyone leave the room," Ashley said to Wade and Greta, who had wandered in after Nurse Ashley. Wade stepped out of the room and stood by Greta, who had by now forgotten not only what she wanted to tell the nurse, but also that she had wanted to tell the nurse anything at all. As medical staff rushed around them, Wade leaned over and whispered to Greta, "I think the taser worked this time." Thank you once again for listening. If you enjoyed this story, why not check out the one on the screen now? It's called How Well Do You Know Your Colleagues? And shows what happens when one person forgets to turn off their Zoom meeting.